Good morning. A masked gunman is reported to have opened fire at a premiere of the new Batman film in the United States.
And a deadly shooting at an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut.
The words are hard to find at this time.
Yeah. But it's the most traumatic event I've ever experienced.
She said that a man about 6 feet tall, taller than her, kicked through the door, and he was in she said a riot helmet. She said had a bulletproof vest on. She said that he was completely covered in all black with goggles, and she said that after that point, when she saw that he was holding a shotgun, her and her boyfriend dropped to the floor and just kind of started to crawl to see if they could get away.
Guns have always had a large place in American culture. The United States has more guns per person than any other country in the world. Ever since the tragic shootings at Newtown and Aurora, guns have been pushed into the national spotlight. Gun control has quickly become one of the most debated topics in our country. Many people believe that regulating guns is a solution to shootings, massacres, and murders. But just how effective is gun control at stopping events such as these? Strict gun control has been used in the past and is being used today in certain parts of the U.S. For example, in 1976, handguns were banned in Washington, D.C., and firm regulations were placed on the storage of other firearms. The law was eventually decided unconstitutional in 2008.
Some new information on crime in America, and gun rights supporters are taking note. You might recall the Supreme Court struck down strict handgun bans that were in place in Chicago and Washington, D.C. At the time, Chicago's mayor predicted the streets would look like the Wild West. So is that happening? William Lajeunesse, live in Los Angeles for us. William?
Well, John, as you know, conventional wisdom holds that more guns means more crime, and that's what many predicted after the court in a 5-4 decision ruled that Americans do have a constitutional right to own a firearm. And yet, while gun ownership is at an all-time high, crime is down.
However, during the time that the law was in place, the murder rate in Washington, D.C. was an average of 73% higher than it was before the law was enacted. A similar law in Chicago had the same outcome, with murders initially dropping, but then rising to all-new highs. But ineffective gun control is not limited to the U.S. For example, Russia has tight gun regulations, but has a murder rate that is 4 times higher than the U.S. Comparatively, Switzerland has the 3rd highest number of guns per capita in the world, but one of the lowest murder rates. It's easy to see that gun ownership does not necessarily equate to murder. With so much media attention, most people think that high, powerful rifles such as these would be the first choice of a criminal. But according to the FBI, in 2011, 323 people were killed with rifles, compared to 6,200 with handguns. Obviously, for preventing crime, rifles are not our biggest problem. Another point in the gun control debate is that we need more background checks during gun sales. This is actually a point I agree with and recognize could have positive effects. Tougher background checks would make it harder for criminals to buy guns legally, with the small disadvantage of making the process of buying a firearm more inconvenient. There are other aspects of gun control that are more complicated than just regulating which guns are legal or illegal to buy. For example, keeping guns out of the hands of those with mental health issues and the possibility of arming teachers to present an obstacle to future shooters are 2 other options that should be explored and debated. However, the debate on gun control usually comes back to a simple common sense argument. Banning guns will take them out of the hands of law-abiding citizens, while criminals will retain them. Criminals already break the law, and they will have no qualms about continuing to do so to obtain weapons. Also, criminals always prefer unarmed victims, and a gun can be a powerful deterrent. When terrible events such as Sandy Hook and Aurora happen, people rush to find quick solutions because of the emotional impact. However, it's important to step back and examine if the change we are bringing to society is really making a positive impact and is being made with full understanding of the situation. We all want to make sure that people don't get killed, but more gun control might not be the best way to bring that about.